Get that paper, told that Glock, that's how we live. Yeah, my life's a game, I pray I don't get killed. They can't believe I got the guap, this shit for real. Can't accept the fact my brother gone, I wanna kill. Yeah, I can't go for that shit don't sit right. Instead of capping to the old nigga, I know what you live like. Ain't worried about all, just fuck these hoes and live life. I go on the drill, I'm smart enough, you gotta know how to kill.
Isagi now has his own requirements for a pseudo flow state, at least to activate it. He has become the center of attention, a star that shines brighter than any other within the night sky. Days later, the team walks onto the pitch, looking in front of them to see the World 5 players. Each one of them had their own unique technique and presence that threw off the strikers. They asked where Isagi was, as he was the last to walk out, now sporting a new look, one closer to the one in the thumbnail, dyeing his hair due to his feeling of enlightenment in the world of football. While walking out, Julian Loki feels as if he knows him, and walking over to Isagi, he asked in Japanese if he knew of someone named Michael Kaiser. Hearing that name, Isagi had heard the surname before, but just where? Maybe it was one of his mother's colleagues that she had mentioned to him. Still, he waves it off, and Loki has his own investigation to do within the real world. The other strikers noted that Isagi seemed much different from before, as his presence was so calming to be around. Not like the last time, where you could feel his excitement, especially for his love of football. The match begins, and Isagi passes the ball off to Ren before heading up the field himself. Ren dribbles around, but runs into a wall, which forces him to shoot, but it's cut off. This is when the rebound is caught by Kira. Opening his eyes further, he taps the ball over to Isagi, who was in position. Isagi was in the center of the defense, with a player on each side of him. Loki was on his back while it was turned, causing Isagi to smirk just a little bit more, spinning with the ball into a feint to get rid of Loki. And he now has other players who would move in. Isagi remained calm, using everything he knows to play at a higher level. His goal gaze displayed a path like no other. Isagi whips around Silva and now performs his magnum outburst to score the first goal of this match. Smiling while he did so, Isagi tells the players known by the world that he is the next prodigy that will ascend to their realm. The World 5 players soon retaliate with their own attacks. Loki was at the forefront of it, taking on the members of Ego's team with ease, until getting to Isagi. This was one of the first time that he used his goal gaze while on defense, noting that it provided him with something completely different, allowing him to see the path that Loki had available. Incredible. He has this many options from this range, but just what will he choose? This doesn't make any sense. After all, no, I need to focus. If he's here, that means he won't be scared to take me on, head on. Isagi and Loki clash, with Isagi just barely missing Loki, who was using his god speed. But he didn't miss the ball, throwing it off just a little bit. Still, Loki would score. Isagi would lift up his head, knowing that Loki had realized it as well. If Loki stood in the realm of the world-class players, Isagi was quickly climbing towards it within this match. Walking back to his team, Loki would explain that Isagi was quite dangerous, so they need to be careful and solely focus on him going forward. To lose to kids in high schools here will be a disappointment to their nations respectively. In their next exchange, Isagi leaves the ball to Nagi and Kira, who 1-2 passed up the field. Seeing that Isagi was now open once again, Kira went to pass, but soon realized that all eyes were on Isagi, going for the better option and sending in the ball to Rin. The prodigy traps the ball and shoots his Travella shot, only to have it stopped by Leonardo Luna. The ball is then sent towards Cavazos, but is stolen by Isagi. Running ahead, Isagi begins his own attack, with the World 5 closing in on him once again. In his mind, all the circumstances seem to be met, awakening in this moment, using the arcane sniper shot as his catalyst. And he stands back up while in the state of flow as the goal is scored, claiming that he doesn't plan to stop here. Beating them is just going to be a stepping stone. Here Isagi scores 3 goals, and Ren would get one of them. However, the World 5 team is able to get the last goal due to luck falling their way, causing Ego to later tell them that even luck can be manipulated within a match. Ego now had to deal with the Japanese Football Association and its members. While he goes through that, within Blue Lock, Isagi was undergoing a new development in which he was gaining a better understanding of the world around him, how players and their personalities affect the game, how each player takes in information differently, truly understanding the different types of egos that were in play, as everyone is the star of the show within their own view. But as he sees it, everyone will look at him as a superstar once he begins to pull Japan into a period of victory. Learning that soon they would be facing Japan's very own U20 team, they began preparing for that challenge. But it's been a while since we covered our other protagonists. Switching back over to Michael Kaiser, we see that he's only gotten even stronger since the last time we had viewed his side of the story, dominating for Germany and putting on quite the show, as by now he's gained his famous nickname, which was quite ironic when you think about it. But still, he had wished to know where his brother was during this time. This is when he actually was visited by someone he knows. When Julian Loki arrives at the facility requesting the appearance of Michael Kaiser himself, Kaiser would want to know the meaning of all of this, until a paper slid across the table. The prodigy, not thinking anything of it, asked Kaiser if he knew who the person in the photo was. Flipping it over, Kaiser's eyes widened. This couldn't be, could it? No, there was no mistaking it at all. This person within the photo, this face, and those piercing eyes could rip everything from him in an instant. That was him, Yoichi Isagi, his younger brother. Kaiser grabbed the photo and balled it up, throwing it into the trash bin that was nearby. You traveled all the way here from France to show me a picture of a nobody. I never expected the great Loki to waste his precious time in such a manner. Loki would then shrug his shoulders while smiling. I guess I've grown bored since there isn't a real challenge for me in the world besides its number 1. Kaiser then scoffs at this, watching Loki walk off. But then, as soon as he's gone, he runs to the trash can, foaming at the mouth, grabbing the photo and running into his room, noting that this uniform is very unfamiliar with anything that he's ever seen before. Kaiser begins to continue his research, and around 4 a.m., Ness was seen walking into his room, asking what was the meaning of all of this. On the floor and scattered around the room were different newsletters, cutouts, or even magazine photos of Yoichi Isagi's face, with Kaiser just wondering where he was with X markings on all of them. It all leads to one place, with Kaiser seething with rage. So that's where you've hidden yourself, within Blue Lock's own project. Well, go ahead and come out as the ultimate weapon for Japan, so I can crush you alongside that pathetic nation. Ness wondered just how he was able to find him, but he compliments Kaiser for his work and what he's able to do. That's pretty impressive, Kaiser. I knew you could do it. Kaiser ignores Ness, only focusing on his brother, as hours later, Ness claims that he wants to go to sleep, walking off. Later, lying in his room, Ness begins to slam his head against the wall, while repeating Isagi's name, knowing that he was the real reason why Kaiser has never truly acknowledged him. However, if he's able to help Kaiser crush Isagi, then he will gain his attention. As during all of this, Ego was able to put his unpolished gems through many trials, and forms Blue Lock's own 11 that will face the U20 Japan team. With the formation here being structured around Isagi, I'll go over the offense, which is the only thing that truly changes. At the center forward, of course we have Isagi himself, and on his right, we have Nagi, and his left, Rin. As now in the midfield, where Isagi usually would be, we have Kira and Reo on his right. And on his left, we have Hiyori. Everyone else remains the same as far as the defense. There is some time before the actual match, so what happens during that time is a team meeting where Ego begins to go over the flow state itself. Pay attention, you dimwits. I'll teach you now a method of burning your life force that's indispensable for the world's best strikers. While going over this, Isagi thinks of the moments that he's entered the flow state to himself, stating that this isn't a problem for him. What's truly a problem is the exhaustion it puts on his body afterwards. This is something that Ego brings up by using Isagi as an example. Yoichi Isagi is a little different from the rest of you. He's more of a polished gem that's on its way to becoming a precious jewel for the world to reach for. Rin is the one to ask what makes him so special in comparison to the rest of them, and Ego grins from ear to ear, stating that Isagi understands his own requirements for what's needed for his awakening into the flow state. Not believing this, many would question this, and Ego silences them, turning to the screen behind him, and he goes over a play in the World 5 match where Isagi is seen using the flow state. Everything seems to be clicking for him as all his movements become more fluid and his strikes even more precise than they were before. This heightened level of focus was nothing to gawk at all. Ego turns to them, explaining that as of now, this is what their plan focused on. Isagi is truly their trump card, if all else fails. When the meeting is over, many stand up and begin leaving, but Isagi is stopped by Anri and Ego, with the man having something very special in mind for our hero. And we wouldn't get to see it, as later, we'd see Isagi suiting up within the locker room. All I need to do is trust the training that I've done thus far. There's no reason for that hellhole that I was put in to be a waste of time. Thinking back to just how insane Jinpachi Ego was, Isagi smirked. I still can't believe there are people just like him within the world, hidden amongst the stars. Finishing tying his cleats, we see Isagi stand with the number 11 upon his back, stepping through with his team to now stand in a hallway face to face with their new opponents. And this is where I plan to end this part of the series for now. And I know you guys are ready for the U20 match in the next arc that I have planned that would follow, as that will be the finale. So get this video to 90 likes so that I know you guys want me to conclude this story in the best way possible. My name is Zero, and I'll catch you all on the next one.